Guys, Mumdas here. Let's talk about the games happened on the 15th, Tuesday. The first game is the Cleveland Cavaliers lost to the Atlanta Hawks 116-124 behind the big game, behind Trae Young's big game. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Darius Garland started. With him starting, they're also starting Isaac Okoro and making Caris LeVert coming off the bench. So that's interesting. That's not great for LeVert value if his minutes is in the under 30s. But we'll see. It's just one game. Maybe that's the direction they want to go. So Darius Garland still unlimited usage, basically. 30 points, 8 assists, a big game against the Hawks. Evan Mobley, great game, but the free throw is still an issue. So next year in the draft, in category leagues, if you take Evan Mobley in the top 50, which you definitely could, I would just go with the strategy that's punting free throws because what we've seen from him so far is not great, but everything else is good. 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and a block. 22 points. Jared Allen had an okay game, just a 7 rebound and a block, 14 points. And Kevin Love also keep coming off the bench, keep having great games. Good rebounder, a lot of threes and points, and good free throws. So if you're in need of that, he's definitely needs to be rostered. For the Hawks, Capella played 30 minutes. That's finally he's able to crack 30, while Okongwu plays 16. Okongwu is not a must roster, but if you need blocks, you could have him. Otherwise, you could let him go. Clint Capella, 5 points, 2 blocks in 30 minutes, and he has not been good this year. Obviously minutes is a concern, and whenever he gets the minutes, he's not putting up the numbers he was putting up last year, at least lately. Maybe All-Star break he could recharge it, refresh, and put up some better numbers. Trae Young, like I said, went off 4 threes, 9 assists, 41 points. Really carried his team. Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Hunter, both guys are kind of they have the minutes on this team. They're gonna play around 30 minutes. You could make an argument. You could definitely stream both, but how much value are they really bringing? DeAndre Hunter, if you need points, threes, and efficiency, he can give you that, but everything else is, And Kevin Huerter is not a great field goal, but he gives you a little bit everything. Which is in the playoffs, do you really need him? Because there's not one category other than threes. He makes a decent amount of threes, but everything else is really not a lot. Bogdanovic, I think, is a must roster. Played just 30 minutes here, but 4 steals, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 threes. Bogdanovic, I think, has good enough upside for us to roster him. He's continuing coming off the bench. I think still that's fine. The minutes is around 30s. I think that's okay. I don't have a in this game because Trae Young went off. He only took 8 field goals. But he's definitely a fun guy to have. The next game, the Dallas Mavericks. This is also an upset, I suppose. Took down Miami Heat. Man, without Porzingis, it doesn't matter. It's just Luka all the time. 100% usage. Although he only had 21 points this game, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Free throw continues to be bad. Efficiency continues to be bad. 3 turnovers as well. Jalen Brunson had a good game. 19 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Continues to be very, very solid. I think with Porzingis out, everybody's going to get a little bit usage. Everybody's going to get a few more shots. Even the role players. So that's good for Jalen Brunson. Dwight Powell still, even if he gets 30 minutes, he's not really fantasy relevant. Dorian Finney-Smith signed a huge contract, so you'd expect him to play harder, play better, hit 4 threes here. That's great. 14 points and a block. He's he provides decent defensive stats and some threes. But again, in the playoffs, if you don't need the defensive stats, let's say you need assist, you need some field goal, stuff like that, then you could let him go for sure. Definitely don't need to roster him. Josh Green, 20 minutes, not really fantasy relevant. And Maxi Kleber had a huge game. If you believe in him, you could pick him up. But the thing with Maxi Kleber, he's so up and down. Every once in a while, he's going to have those games, 5 block games. But most of the time, he's not really doing anything. Spencer Dinwiddie, this is his first game. Davis Bertans, right now, look like they're not really fantasy options right now. They're not getting the minutes. They're not going to get the usage. And, whenever Luka is playing, Spencer Dinwiddie is not going to have. And they also have Jalen Brunson, right? For the Miami Heat, They scored 99 points. But Bam continues to dominate. 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks, and 3 assists. Like, he's putting up much better numbers than he was beginning of the season. Much, much better numbers. Duncan Robinson are really interested in him. Kyle Lowry had an okay game, just 4 assists here. I think lately he has not been getting the assists that we want him to get. That's obviously worrisome. That's almost entirely his value. He obviously hit some threes, hit free throws, get defensive stats as well. But he was pretty bad, minus 14 this game. Jimmy Butler, no defensive stats, but 29 points, 10 rebounds. It's all about can he stay healthy. 13 for 14 from the free throw line is also huge. Gabe Vincent with Kyle Lowry back. I think we could all let him go everywhere. Let's go to the next team. Man, the Celtics, they've been so good. They struggled beginning of the season. In the last month or so, they're unbelievable. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They're picking it up, man. The Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn and Sixers trade made both teams better, obviously, because Ben Simmons wasn't playing, right? And then Harden was, we don't know what he was doing, to be honest. And with the emergence of Celtics, the East is pretty stacked, and Robert Williams didn't even play this game, and Al Horford played 19 minutes, and Marcus Smart did have an injury. So that will possibly give, that should benefit Derek White, in my opinion. If Derek White came off the bench, played 27 minutes, I think he's still a hold. He should be getting around 30 minutes a game. And then playing on the Celtics team. Because Derek White, we know he doesn't need to score a lot of points in order or have big usage for him to be fantasy relevant. It's about like the defensive stats, which he provides a lot. And a steal and block. I think he's totally fine here. Daniel Theis, after the trade, played 20 minutes, okay, not really fantasy relevant. And Marcus Smart, depending on how much time he misses. But really, like Aaron Nesmith, Peyton Pritchard, they're not really fantasy relevant. But I think they should benefit Derek White. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both scored really well. Jaylen Brown had 3 assists, 8 rebounds, no defensive stats, while Tatum provided much better peripheral stats this game. But it's good to see both guys healthy and playing and well. And the Celtics, I mean, even the Bucks. This is how competitive the East is. The Bucks, they're 35-23, and they're the 5th seed. So that's great for all fantasy owners, to be honest. If you own a key player on the Eastern, and the team is the East, because the playoff race is pretty intense. Like Giannis will not be resting. Joel Embiid will not be resting down the stretch, right? Jimmy Butler will not be. They need to. Same thing for the Nets, right? They need their guys back and in play, at least avoid the plays. And then for the 76ers, because it was a blowout, so everybody's minutes was pretty low. Danny Green played 19 minutes. He might, but once Harden comes in, I don't really expect Danny Green to be fantasy relevant. Tobias Harris, really bad. Joel Embiid, 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. Went to the free throw line 6 times. Him and Harden. If you watch Sixers games, the game is going to be longer than all the other games, maybe 20 minutes longer, because those guys, they just sit on the free throw line, right? Matisse Thybulle, obviously a hold, had 1 point here. And Tyrese Maxey, once Harden gets there, Tyrese Maxey, his value is going to take a very, very big hit. Because Harden can have the ball in his hands all the time. And if Harden doesn't have the ball, it's going to be Joel Embiid. It's kind of the Maverick situation, where the role players, they won't be getting touches. They will not be getting touches. Which obviously sucks, but like for guys like Matisse Thybulle, that's totally fine. As long as they have the minutes, they don't care about the usage. All right, let's go to the next team. The Milwaukee Bucks didn't destroy the Indiana Pacers, but 128-129 behind Giannis is 50 points. Giannis was angry. And to be fair, the Pacers, nobody could really stop Giannis. And with Isaiah Jackson out, with Chris Duarte out, Buddy Hield went off, 36 points, 8 rebounds. Yeah, this trade helps Buddy Hield tremendously, right? Tyrese Halliburton was doing well on the Kings anyways, but here, we'll see what happens when Malcolm Brogdon comes back and Chris Duarte. They also play Jalen Smith, 17 minutes. We don't know what's this Pacers team. They got a lot of fantasy beasts on this team. So we just gotta wait and see once they get their full squad back, what's gonna happen, and also Miles Turner, of course. But is he coming back? Like, there's a chance that he just doesn't come back. Miles Turner, they have nothing to play for. He did not get traded. Why play him? So both Buddy Hield and Tyrese played really well. Gogo Badaze played 25 minutes. With Miles Turner out, he's fine to have. Jalen Smith, not right now because the minutes is too low. And who knows when Isaiah Jackson comes back, he's not going to get any minutes. Oh shit, Brissett. We could have him for now, but I don't really have high hopes. Malcolm Brogdon is going to come in. Chris Duarte is going to come in. Isaiah Jackson going to come into this rotation. So what's going to happen? I have no idea. But like Chris Duarte should be getting around 30 minutes. It's just with all the guys around, he's not going to have a huge usage. And Isaiah Jackson, he doesn't need to use it. He just needs the minutes. Like if he can get 25 to 30, I think he's a must roster. He just gets so many defensive stats. For the Bucks, Chris Middleton 19 and 8, okay game man, but Giannis shot okay from the free throw line as well. No defensive stats, but 15 points and 14 rebounds. You have to take it. Bobby Portis had just 6 points, but 14 rebounds, taking a lot of rebounds away from all the other guys, and 3 steals is really good. And Drew Holiday 14, 8 and 1. Also had okay. I mean, this Bucks team, they traded Dante DiVincenzo, and Pat Connaughton is going to be out for an extended period of time. So Grayson Allen might have some streaming value, but this game, for some reason, he only played 16. But if you need threes, you could potentially look at Grayson Allen. Let's look at the next game. The Charlotte Hornets, they just be losing every single game, right? They're 3-7 in the last 10. Ever since the team got COVID, it's not the same. LaMelo Ball was, well, this is a good game here. 22 points. This game went to overtime as well. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal and a block, 3 threes. This is what LaMelo Ball can do. Next year, you could take him at the end of first or early second. I think totally fine. He's just such a category beast. And he's healthy too. Like, do you want him or you want a Kawhi Leonard? Like, I probably prefer LaMelo. I don't know Leonard's low management thing next year, but never good. Montrezl Harrell played 33 minutes. That's interesting. If he can get 30 minutes on this team, I think he could put up some nice numbers. He didn't put up nice numbers this game. So if he's out there on the waiver wire, you want to pick him up? Sure. The next few games, let's see what happens. I mean, this game they do have Gordon Hayward out for an extended period of time. So let's just assume he won't be back. So they also started PJ, who also had a good game, 4 steals and a block. They played Montrezl Harrell 30 plus minutes, and Kelly Oubre Jr. only 25. It's just one game, but we'll see. Terry Rozier also played well. They scored 120 points. Everybody played okay, but efficiency was an issue. 25 points is good, and Miles Bridges also a huge game. 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists, but still got issues with his free throws. Miles Bridges is really good fantasy player, top 30, top 40, but the free throws is an issue, right? You draft him next year, you don't have to pound free throws with him, but you just expect him to like throw your free throws every other game. 7 for 10 is okay, but sometimes 3 for 6, And he's one of those guys have huge usage, so 1 week he could go like 10 for 20 from the line, and then you just lose free throw. You just lose that category. But some weeks you go like 13 for 13, which it's good, but it's not guarantee you a win, free throw win. For the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards had an ankle injury, left the game. All-Star break is coming up, so at most he probably missed 1 game. He will be back after All-Star break. So with him out, like if you want Jaden McDaniels went off. So if you want 4 steals and 2 blocks here, yep, this is what this guy can do. And also shot the ball well. So if you need to stream one guy before the All-Star break, Jaden McDaniels would be a good choice. Jared Vanderbilt played super well as well. 14 rebounds, huge rebounder, 2 for 4 from the free throw line. It's not great, and a steal. Cat with Anthony Edwards gone, just went off. I mean, Charlotte Hornets, they have no defense. That's another thing. 39 points. I don't know how much it means, but really good game from Cat. Patrick Beverly fielded up as well. 7 rebounds for 3 assists. I mean, when these type of teams play each other, everybody's gonna have a good game. They're gonna put up some numbers. D'Lo didn't shoot the ball well, but had 11 assists, 18 points. And Jaden McDaniels, obviously, we could definitely stream him the next day before the All-Star break. Let's talk about the next game. Grizzlies and the Pelicans. The not the Miami Heat, sorry. The Toronto Raptors couldn't beat the Pelicans at home. But Grizzlies, easy game for them. 121-109. It was a back-to-back for the Pelicans, but and guess what? Ja Morant didn't even play this game. It was Tyus Jones. This is what I'm saying. They also got a lot of nice players on this team. Can fill up the stat sheet. Tyus Jones just had 27 points and 9 assists and a steal. Desmond Bane didn't shoot the ball particularly well, and Dylan Brooks is going to be back. But I still feel good about him being top 70, 80 for sure. If he can get some defensive stats, top 50, 60 is not too crazy. He makes a ridiculous amount of threes as well. Not the best game, didn't shoot the ball that well. Steven Adams played really well, 13 rebounds and a steal. And Jaren Jackson Jr., had a high usage game, 3 threes, a steal and a block, 23 points. For Jaren Jackson Jr., if he can put together a nice 2-week stretch, he could legit be a top 10, just like Robert Williams, like top 10, top 5 player. If he can average like 3 blocks a game that week. Zion Williams is really not fantasy relevant. D'Anthony Melton had a steal and a block. But with Ja Morant out, he played just 22 minutes. Yeah. If the guy can get consistent 25 to 30 minutes, he's a top 50 player. I'm pretty certain of that. Let's look at the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram, 33 minutes. Did not have the best game, 18 points. Herb Jones, 30 minutes, had some foul trouble at a steal. He's still very solid hold. Very, very good defensive guy, but he's going to be up and down, obviously, as a rookie. Valanciunas, just the 4 rebounds. What's going on with that? Why did he only grab 4 rebounds? I'm not sure. Had 2 blocks, he had 19 points. Everything else, he looks fine. CJ went off, 30 points. Did not make a 3, 7 assists and 2 steals. Devontae Graham is very close to drop territory. In this game, Jackson Hayes got a few extra more minutes. I mean, they love playing Valanciunas and Jackson Hayes. It looks like the pair could be working. This game also, Valanciunas was in some foul trouble as well. But they have played Jackson Hayes and Valanciunas together. And it's working out okay for them. I mean, the Pelicans are on the rise. They've been winning games even before the trade. Well, 5-5 in their last 10, but they play some tough teams, man. They played the Miami Heat. This game they played the Grizzlies. They played the Toronto Raptors, which they beat. If they play some inferior teams, I think the win percentage will be much better. And they're going for that 10th spot. They're trying to make the playoffs, obviously. So that's great for Brandon Ingram. That's great for Valanciunas. That's great for CJ McCollum. Obviously, if they weren't going for the playoff, why they trade for CJ? So that's good for all these guys. And then let's talk about the last game of the night. The LA Clippers lost to the Phoenix Suns. It was a lot closer than the line suggested. It was like -13 Phoenix Suns. They ended up winning by 7. Nicholas Batum in 25 minutes, he put up a pretty good line, but only a streamer. All the Clipper guys, they're too inconsistent. Marcus Morris Sr. had 23 points and 3 threes. That's good. He's one of those Clippers that, I'm okay with holding on, like roster full time. Zubac played high minutes, because they got DeAndre Ayton on the other side. 13 rebound and a block, but again, not a must roster you could stream. And this is what I'm talking about. Terrence Mann had a really good game last time around. This game, 32 minutes. I mean, 2 steals and a block is fine, is good, but everything else is, he's just going to be inconsistent. Reggie Jackson had 8 assists and 14 points and 2 blocks. Is really good. Amir Coffey, Luke Kennard, these guys, they're not really fantasy relevant. And Robert Covington played just 21 minutes. So it's going to be like those times. Robert Covington, some nights will get 20, some nights will get 30. Some nights he might even play 35. We just don't know how they're going to use Robert Covington. But for now, he's still a hold. Had 3 steals and a block here and 8 rebounds. I just need Robert Covington to be engaged because his upside is too high, right? So I think he's still fine to hold. For the Suns, Mikal Bridges, 19 points, 9 rebounds. He's been scoring a lot in the last month or so. He's been scoring a lot. Great efficiency as well. Jay Crowder, 3 steals and a block, 5 points. Could be a streamer for defensive stats and threes and some rebounds. I think last week he had a game where he had 0 points and 14 rebounds or something like that against the Sixers. I don't remember who was against, but he could be a good streamer. DeAndre Ayton, 12 12 and 12, a steal and a block, and very average game from him. Devin Booker had 26, 3 steals and a block. Chris Paul, man, 17 points, 14 assists, and a steal. The guy at this age, they be winning too many games. That's why I'm a little worried. When we get to the end, let's say you make it to the finals, back to back, Chris Paul might sit out because they have secured the #1 seed in the entire league. Because they're like 5 games ahead of Warriors, right? So if they're like 5 games ahead of Warriors, they have nothing to play for. It's last 2 weeks. They got back to back. They might say Chris Paul. It's real. So if you own some of these guys, you want them to lose a few more games because then they have nothing to play for. And that's it for all the games, guys. I'll see you later.